The best advice I got as an entrepreneur is you need to keep learning. You think you're done learning after you graduate from university or college or whatever, but you haven't even scratched the surface.
What was a pivotal moment for you in your business?
When we discovered how to go viral on social media. Our YouTube now, I think we're at 3 point something million subscribers. That's more subscribers than like Tim Hortons, Popeyes, and Burger King combined. The number one most important thing to care about as a restaurant owner is your guests. Most powerful books that you can read to grow your business is
Welcome to another episode of the Founders Path. Today I'm here with Ali, the owner of Tahini's, one of Canada's fastest growing shawarma shops. Now, I've heard a lot about you. I've kind of done a lot of research about you, and I think you have a really cool story for us to tell. So I'm going to start off with just tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about the business, kind of what got your start. Yeah, go on. Yeah, tell us.
Yeah, well, thank you, Basil. Thank you for having me. And so, a little bit about Tahini's. We came to Canada in 2012. Me and my brother, also co-founder and the CEO, and we just wanted to start a business somehow or buy a business. So we actually went on a hunt to look for businesses to buy, and we found this restaurant in downtown London. We had no clue how to run a restaurant at all, but we liked the location, we liked the food, we liked just the numbers of the business, and so we ended up just buying it. And then from there, our restaurant journey started, and lots of mistakes were made, and slowly we just got better over time. From there, we opened a second restaurant in London as well, and then a third after that. And then we started the franchise business, right?
Yeah.
Because we kept getting a lot of people interested in our concept and our model. And we said, okay, let's do it. So from there, we started franchising, and the demand was huge. And then we just grew from there. We went from 4 restaurants to now we have 70 restaurants in Canada and the US.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
You mentioned mistakes. Tell us a little bit about those mistakes. I feel like that might take a lot of time, but
Yeah.
tell us a little about those mistakes. Like, tell us about the growing pains, I think, of starting a pretty big business journey.
Yeah, I mean, some of the major mistakes that we've made were related to, people management, not perfecting the craft. So learning how everything gets done and trying to, make decisions without having a full understanding sometimes can lead to a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
So most of the mistakes were in that realm. But I believe the number one thing that, if I would tell this to myself earlier, when we first started the restaurant, the number one most important thing to care about as a restaurant owner is your guests.
Mm-hmm.
And because that drives everything, right? So think guests first, and then have all the decisions come from that perspective,
Yeah.
right? So
What was that thing that, like, what were the things that you were focusing on to make it like a very guest first experience?
yeah, I mean, well, at first when we started, we had no idea. We were just like, haphazardly just trying to patch things up and
Yeah.
try to understand everything. And but from there, being guest first is just like, before making any major decision, just try to first really understand if the guests really care about that decision or not, right? And if you get an overwhelming, disagreeing to your great idea, because you probably think it's a great idea, like whatever it is, then you should probably not do it because the guests are telling you something else, right? So that concept just goes through every realm, whether it's hospitality, whether it's the food, whether it's the social media marketing, right? So I just keep that guest first perspective on everything.
Yeah. Why shawarmas? Like, when you started, what made you focus on that?
So that was the when we bought the first restaurant, that was what the restaurant did.
Mm-hmm.
The restaurant did shawarmas,
Yeah.
and so we had to learn it, right?
Now, did you have? I think this is more like I think we can relate a little bit because of the Middle Eastern side of it. But before, did you think that there was like kind of like this notion with Middle Eastern restaurants and this is I think very common where shawarma shops and everything. It's like very. It's opened by people who aren't business focused, meaning that the food a lot of times is good, but then kind of like you said, the guest experience, the actual like the aesthetic of the place is usually not top tier compared to a lot of other like restaurants that are owned by other people. Was that something that you struggled with in the beginning? You think that you wanted this thing that people had a negative maybe look on in terms of aesthetic and the actual like business side of it, and then transitioned it into something that's more like appealing for people.
Yeah, I think the one of the number one mistakes restaurant owners do when they first decide to open up the restaurant is they don't really think of it as a business. They just think of it as a kitchen. I'm gonna cook my great food, and people are gonna love it, and all is gonna go perfectly. But restaurant businesses are some of the worst performing businesses,
Absolutely.
as like new businesses,
Yeah.
right? So I can't remember the stat, but it was like, north of 80 something percent of them fail
Yeah,
after the first year.
absolutely. Yeah.
So you can't just think of it like that. You have to go in and think of it as a business and think of all the elements that touch this restaurant, whether it's SEO optimization, social media, operations, hospitality, websites. You have to really integrate every single aspect of the restaurant into as a business, or else you're just gonna miss out on a lot of opportunities.
Yeah. What made you take that risk on knowing that stat? Because I think it's a very well known thing. You said it. Restaurants are not usually successful, and it's honestly very rare for a restaurant to be successful. What made you take that leap and take that risk with your brother?
So we did it in confidence because that restaurant was already operating, and we knew what the numbers were and how much it was doing, and so there was no risk of that. The plan for us was basically, how do we make this grow, because we already know it's working, and then that's just what we focused on.
Yeah. What made you get so aggressive with the franchising early on? Like what kind of got you that confidence to be like, you know what, I think we're at a point where we have the locations that we have, and now we're just gonna start getting aggressive with that model. What made it so attractive to you?
Honestly, it's just the demand. Like, people were coming to us from all over the place, and they were just, hey, we want to open a Tahini's. And we were like, oh, sorry, we can't do that. Right.
Yeah.
And it just kept building up until we said, okay, we have to do this. Right.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, and this is important, I think, in any business endeavor, is like, you have to try to gauge demand
Yeah.
for a big idea, and just to validate that this can work. And we had that demand, accompanied with, like, our social media virality and all of that. It was in high demand, so we went ahead and did it.
What do you say to a business owner who, for example, has that demand but is like scared of taking that risk and scared of like potentially getting bad franchisees or the quality of their food going down and stuff like that? What would you say to them if they're like, I have the demand, it's just there's a lot of things that I'm worried about?
Yeah. So again, I would tell somebody that's wanting to start a franchise from scratch, is the number one thing is to put your guests first. From that perspective, every decision you make will derive into a certain way of working or doing things or making decisions, right? So, for example, if you put your guests first, and guests first require great hospitality, right, as just a baseline for satisfaction, then you would try to re-engineer the guest's hospitality in a way where this gets accomplished in all the restaurants. So you have to build a system that is geared towards that from the start.
Yeah.
right? And you have to do that with everything. So same thing goes for consistency, right? And same thing for trying to engage, trying to get guests to leave reviews, right? How do you do that? What are the systems that you need to do to prompt that behavior, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, like again, the one thing is guest obsessed.
That makes sense. What's the best advice you've gotten when you were starting off? What's the best advice you've gotten as an entrepreneur so far?
The best advice I got as an entrepreneur is you need to keep learning shit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one.
You need to keep learning stuff. You think you're done learning after you graduate from university or college or whatever, but you haven't even scratched the surface.
100%, yeah.
And now we're at an age where AI is available, but AI is not gonna think for you. So you have to learn how to think using AI and how to just grow your knowledge base on life and your business and relationships and everything, right? Like knowledge is everything. So if it's one thing that I can tell people is just read.
Yeah. What do you read? Like what are the first few books that you think are critical for an entrepreneur to read? Not to put you on the spot here, but
Sorry, first what?
like the first, like you're talking about books and learning,
Yeah.
right? So what are books that you think are like critical for business
Okay.
owners to read?
So I think one of the most powerful books that you can read to grow your business is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Yeah.
That's just a staple that you have to read.
Mm-hmm.
Another one is Atomic Habits. Actually, that
Then
one
they have it, yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good book.
Yeah.
Good to Great is another really, really great book. There's so much more. What else? It depends on what like
the
you
goal
need
is,
to
right?
read
Yeah.
books, for example, about social media, right? Like
Yeah.
you know, Gary Vaynerchuk has some really cool books on social media, so you need to read that. You need to just read books about negotiation if you want to
Yeah.
learn about how to negotiate, right?
Yeah.
And then another book, Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People.
It's a great one.
That's a great one. I think I think people should read that in high school because I think that book teaches you how to network and how to be likable
Yeah.
by people. And that's just a baseline skill that you need to have throughout any endeavor
Yeah.
across like relationships, your networking, your business, like everything. It touches everything. So it's pretty good one.
I think I personally I know this because I think I'm trying to always get better with habits. But I think I agree. Habits. You seem like you're a pretty big habits kind of guy. I completely agree. What are habits that you've implemented in your life in like recent years to manage like being a business owner of a very large business, and then also being able to manage like your life as well? What are habits that you've implemented in your life, you think?
So you want to build if you want to build habits around your business, you want to make sure that you're building the habits that are going to accelerate your most productive skills, right? So which means that you want to be able to know what to say no to and to have like self actualization where you know what you're good at and you want to double down on that and try to delegate other things to other people that are more skilled than you.
Yeah.
And then you just want to build a habit around doing those things that you're really good at and give you the highest ROI on your business, right? So the good at gives you high ROI can't just be like, I'm good at guitar and I want to play
Yeah,
guitar,
of course.
right? Like it has to actually like bring back a return on your business and just focus on those and then try to learn how to delegate and say no to a lot of the other stuff and adding team members. That's, one of the most important things that you need to do in a business and knowing who's good at what and I think that's one of the main skills of a co-founder is knowing how to do that.
How do you, when you hire on people, stuff, how do you manage that? Because you've always been, I guess, like, I think the biggest thing with restaurants is you're in the business of like, once you're past the food part of it, it's very big, like managing business of people. Like you're managing a lot of personalities. And even early on when you had your one restaurant, two restaurants, you're still managing a lot of people. And then now you're in a different world of managing a lot of franchisees. How do you manage people? Do you find it difficult to manage personalities? Like if someone's struggling with managing a lot of different people, how would you go about that?
You get people that do know how to do that.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not good at that, managing people, you just find somebody that's good at managing people and then hire them, right? And then that way you only have to keep that one person accountable for the things that you want. You know, we have great managers at Tahini's, at the company, that are 10 times better on managing people than I can, right? So I don't try to go and manage people directly because I have just a person that does it way better than me, right? But hey, if you're good at managing people, you know, learn that skill, excel at it, and do it yourself. Right?
How did you go about that early on, like with the first business or the first location, then the transition to the second location, and then the transition to the third? Like how did you go about that? When did you know it was the right time? How did the opportunity come about? And then tell us about that transition.
So when we decided to open a second restaurant, we had the intention. Our first restaurant was doing good, so we had like a successful model that we can replicate. We started, systemizing stuff, getting everything set up in a way where it's replicable in another restaurant. And then we just started searching, right? And we found that location for that second restaurant, and the location was good. It made sense. It was far away from our existing one, right? And all the other check marks were checked off, so we just jumped on it.
What was the biggest struggle that you had starting off as an entrepreneur? Just not even just with the restaurants, but just even like mentally, anything like that early on. What was the biggest struggle that you were going through?
Early on, I don't know. There's so many things that I struggled.
Tell us a few.
Like when we started, I struggled with so many things. Managing people was one of them, right? Managing all different kinds of personalities, perfecting the food, right? Struggling to get the food right, struggling to get the word out there, the marketing of the restaurant. You know, I think the marketing of the restaurant was, one of the things that I decided to really focus on, and I struggled a lot with it, because we're a small company, we're trying to grow to compete with like national chains that have budgets of millions of dollars, right? And trying to come up with ways that we can actually compete in that realm was pretty hard, right? But with just grit and perseverance and trial and error and ingenuity, I ended up finding ways to do that successfully, right? And that's why we were the first restaurant, I think, to go on TikTok back in 2019, where TikTok was just like it was just high school kids, and everybody made fun of us. We're like, why are you on TikTok, bro? It's all kids. I'm like, yeah, those kids will grow up one day. And now TikTok is like the number one social media platform for restaurants. So
I actually want to touch on that for a second. I think it's really important. So okay, I'm sure you went through this because I think it's very, very normal, and you kind of mentioned it right now. People are kind of saying this and that about what you were doing, but how did you take that criticism? Did you have people criticize you, like close friends? Probably, I'm assuming, like people that are really close to you, probably criticize you, saying like, "Oh, like how that's cringy," or "Oh, this and that." What do you like? How did you go about that? How did you manage that? Did it affect you at all?
when people, think I'm cringy or whatever because I'm doing something to try to benefit my business, I literally couldn't care less
Yeah.
because it's my business and not theirs. So, you can be self-conscious about going on social media as a restaurant owner and um, make that hold you back. But why? It's your business. What are these other people gonna like? Okay, people think it's cringe. Okay, what are they doing to help your business?
Yeah.
Right? You really have to find a way to get over that because as of right now, mastering how to do organic social media for your restaurant is probably one of the top 3 most important things you can do for your restaurant.
Mm-hmm. What are the other 2 important things that you think?
The other 2 most important things is, knowing how to use word of mouth as a marketing, like realizing that word of mouth is the most effective marketing tool. And then from there, um, re-engineering systems to make word of mouth work for you as a marketing engine for your restaurant.
And I guess a lot of that goes back to the guest experience things, and because
Exactly.
obviously the higher the guest experience, the more they're willing to talk about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Cool.
And I guess the other thing is knowing how to leverage the internet.
Yeah.
I'm just going to make this very wide, but everything that goes underneath that, from SEO to knowing how to do ads like Facebook ads, Instagram ads, and TikTok ads, Google ads, right? Learning how to do Google optimization for your like Google My Business page. And the list goes on, and learning how to use AI to leverage it and as a tool to help your business and marketing efforts, right?
Yeah. I'm sure this isn't easy, but of course, obviously, like finance is a big thing in business, and I think anyone who shies away from talking about money, I know you're very outspoken about that type of stuff, but I think anyone who shies away from it, realistically, I think that's a little bit of a problem. Early on, when you started your first business, and kind of give me that journey, like, did you have financial struggles when you first started? Was it how tough was it when you were starting financially?
Yeah, it was tough, man. Like when we started with one restaurant, one restaurant had 2 owners, right? And restaurant margins are thin,
Yeah.
so which made the problem even harder. But you make it work, and then you just set a goal for yourself where it's like, okay, yeah, sure, one restaurant makes me this amount of money, and then the ceiling is like right here. So I should probably have a goal to open a second restaurant. Okay, what do I need to open a second restaurant?
Yeah.
Is I need systems in place. I need this restaurant to operate by itself. I need to find a way to manage 2 restaurants at the same time, right? And that becomes your new goal and your new North Star. And then when you open that, you just start thinking further after that to expand it even more.
How did you deal with the stress of it? How did you deal with the stress of that money side? Like how did it affect you?
You make do, man. You make do. You say, you thank God for all the blessings that he gave you, and you just continue grinding and working hard. Like there's nothing you can do about, oh, I don't make enough money. Like, what are you just going to sit and whine about it and cry about it? Like, no, just be thankful, be grateful, and just work to be more successful.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you ever go through a period where you thought like this isn't working or this might not like let's just call it a day? Did that ever cross your mind?
No.
Yeah.
I've never gone through a thought experiment where like this is not going to work. I'm always in the mindset of I'm going to do whatever it takes to make this work.
Yeah.
And I think if I went down that rabbit hole, it would just take me into some really dark places and make me want to quit, and just it's a negative feedback loop that just is endless. So I think it's important just to have that mindset to like, I'm going to do whatever it freaking takes to make this work.
Yeah. What's your why? I'm sure it's changed over the years, but what drives you every day? What motivates you to get up and do these things?
The why for us at this point, because we have like 70 restaurants across Canada and the US, and the why right now, like you said, is different from where it was like a few years ago. But right now it's like building a legacy and building the Chipotle's of the Middle East.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's always how I kind of framed it from the beginning, but now it really resonates more. And that's what gets me up every day.
Working with family sometimes I think is genuinely either going to be the most chaotic thing you do, or probably, in my opinion, one of the biggest like blessings that you can do. Did you have struggles with working with family? Like, was it tough? How do you guys manage disagreements when you know that it's like, this is my brother and you have to walk that fine line?
Yeah. I mean, I would say working with family is a blessing. And yes, you are going to have disagreements, and there's cons to it, but I think the pros outweigh the cons by a significant margin. Yeah. And it's because your family, your team, you're in this no matter what, right? Like it's different than when you have business partners, and if things go bad, you can end up just like having a fight and just dissolving the business over disagreements. Where that doesn't happen with family. Like there's borderlines, and there's a family relationship into it, but you just have to manage your way around it, right? You set, the way we have it is we each have our lanes. So me and my brother, take care of the marketing side of the business. He takes care of everything else pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah.
And we each have our realms, and I think that's a good structure to have when you're in a family business, just so it's everybody is in control of their domain, and you're all trying to reach the same goal.
Yeah.
Right.
What was the pivotal moment that you've experienced? And this is probably early in the business. What was the pivotal moment for you in your business?
The pivotal moment for Tahini's was when we discovered how to go viral on social media.
Yeah.
And that was just a validation point for us. It was a proud moment for us. It was the moment we realized, hey, we can actually compete with the likes of, Popeyes, Chipotle, and all these like big brands out there, right? Like the social media has been democratized in a way where people like us had a chance, right? And it's not just about how much money you have. It's about how you can use your creativity to generate brand awareness and reach and engagement and build a community of people online that love your company and love you. And we've been really successful at doing that, like from across like all the platforms, right? Like our YouTube now, I think we're at, can't remember, like 3 point something million subscribers. That's more subscribers than like Tim Hortons, Popeyes, and Burger King combined.
You're almost at where I am. You're almost there. Just a little bit. I'm joking. Yeah. Sorry, go on. No.
Yeah. So I mean, like that was a huge moment for us, and I think it's super important to learn how to master that because of the disadvantage you have as a small restaurant owner.
Yeah. Have you always been creative since you were like young, or is that something you developed over the years? Or
zero creativity when I was younger. Maybe in university, I did a couple of videos as projects and stuff like that, but I had no idea what I was doing. This skill got developed from the need, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we needed brand awareness we needed reach and more people to find out about tahinis. And I had to develop that skill in order to get what I want.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's funny because I think I am the exact same way. Like, I think I was put into a position where I was forced to get the name out there and get creative and stuff. So really does just put you in a different mind space when you're forced to do it versus when you're not. Okay, another big question. This is for Arabs are funny because I think we all are. This is a very relatable thing. Entrepreneurship in the Arab culture is it's hit or miss. You're gonna have some people that are fully for it, but then you have a lot of families who they're very risk adverse. Don't take the risk. Don't worry about it. Don't do this. Don't do that. Did you have that support early on from your family when you're like, hey, Omar and I are gonna open up the restaurant? Was it full support when you guys started, or how was that dynamic?
Yeah, so when we first started, we got tons of support from our family. We got tons of support from the community here in London, Ontario, and now we're at a much bigger scale now. 70 restaurants across the country. Most of the people haven't met us or don't know us.
Yeah.
And I feel there is support. But I do have a message for, specifically the Arab community out there, right? Like, I feel like that a lot of people love to do clickbait engaging content. If they go to, any business that they don't like, they'll post videos. Hey, this guy really did this and that. I'm like,
Yeah.
My message is like, listen, if you go to a place and you don't like it, just either don't go there again or go to the owner of the business and tell him, hey, like I came to your business to try so, and I think you can do this thing better. I think this pushes the Arab community up instead of having us step on each other
Yeah.
just for clickbait
I completely agree.
and rage bait content.
Yeah.
Right? And that's just a message that I have.
Yeah. I completely agree. I think it is unfortunate. I completely agree. And I think you see it all the time.
You know what I mean,
Absolutely.
right? You see it happening a lot.
Absolutely. I see it happen all the time. I think it's unfortunate because I think a lot of other communities are the type like where they do as best as they can to lift other businesses, and this person's like, for example, like a black owned business, we're going to support as much as possible, and you'll never hear anything bad come out from anyone in their community. But yeah, I think unfortunately, like the Muslim community and the Arab community, they're very harsh on Arab business owners and Muslim business owners who try to do the best thing for the community and get our name out there. And I think that's why there's a lot of hesitation with people.
And by the way, like this stuff that I'm saying is not even like part of our culture.
Yeah.
And part of our religion is to push each other
Absolutely,
up.
100%.
Right? Like that's what our religion teaches us.
Yeah.
And these kind of actions, they're the complete opposite for what we stand for or what we believe in. And that's the only reason why I wanted to say this message, because I feel like, we're only going to grow as a community if we push each other up. And that's just the right path forward.
I know you're probably at a level now where it doesn't even bother you as much compared to before, but early when you kind of started, how did that mentally feel to you? Like, did you struggle about it? Did it affect you in any way? How did you kind of like keep just pushing forward and ignoring all that, especially when it comes from your own people in your own community?
Look, my own community is not the only one that would come up and post negative stuff.
Yeah.
Other people do that. The bigger you get, the more haters you will get. So I've learned to just sort of empathize with those haters instead of getting all angry about it. Like, I honestly couldn't care less right now. If there's criticism, though, however, that's valid, I'll take that into account.
Yeah.
Like, if somebody, if I see a review, somebody saying oh, the something was whatever,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I'll look into that. Why was it
Yeah.
this way,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But I'm talking more about the negative, the hate type of
Yeah.
comments you get in social media,
Of course, yeah.
like that type of stuff, or people that do content like hate content or whatever it is,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I don't care at all.
Doesn't bother you at all. That's good. Was it something that you had to like learn, or were you always like that? Were you always like, I kind of just don't really care about people's like I'm not talking about people's opinions because it's just more like the just stupid criticism.
Yeah.
Like, where you always just kind of been like that?
So regarding negative comments, I used to
Yeah.
when they first started happening, I used to get like not aggravated. It used to really affect me and bother me
Yeah.
because it's me, right?
Yeah.
Like, and anybody would be self-conscious if somebody's telling
Absolutely.
you suck.
Yeah. Of
Right?
course.
Like, hey, do I suck? Like,
Yeah.
right? But again, the more you read it, the more you become numb to it. And then you just go from numb. I think the healthiest thing for your mentality is you go from numb to empathizing with those negative comments. It's like, oh, this poor guy doesn't have anything better to do
Yeah.
with his life than just sitting.
Yeah.
I hope he finds his calling.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
I know, like I said, I know you kind of said you want to get to that, like you think the Chipotle level of for the Middle Eastern type of cuisine. What's the goal for you? Like, what's next? Like, what's happening that you're like focused on at the moment? Do you think it's just growing, getting to 150, 200 locations? Like, what's the goal for you?
Yeah. So now, our main goal, as of 2026, is to expand in the U.S. We opened our first restaurant in the U.S. in Illinois, and I think that is just a huge opportunity for us if you really focus on it and do it right. Canada growth is still going. We're not stopping there. We're opening up more in BC. I'm actually going next weekend for the grand opening of 2 restaurants in BC, Vancouver. So we're still going there. We're just going to keep expanding across Canada, but the big growth opportunity for us right now is the US, and we're focusing a lot on that.
Yeah. Is it surreal to you? Like, has it sunk in? When did it sink into you that like this is a thing? Like, this is like, and I know this might sound like a dumb question, but like, when did it sink in that this is a legit business and I'm not like you kind of like, it's not like an imposter syndrome kind of thing. Like you're doing it, you're there, it's growing, it's going national, international. Like, when did that sink into you? And how did you feel about it when it happened?
I think, it didn't happen all at once.
Yeah.
It's slowly started to sink in as I'm doing, but it wasn't really like sinking in. It was a planned thing.
Yeah.
So, sinking in, some of the things that was like sunk in is like how big we actually are. Like, I go to countries that I've never been to before, whether it's Japan or Thailand, and I have people come up to me and say, "Hey, you're the Tahini's guy,"
Oh wow.
and I'm like, "Well, that's pretty cool."
Yeah.
Right. And these are the type of things that kind of think, "Oh, that's pretty cool. We're actually like have like global recognition now."
Yeah.
And so these are pretty cool. But as for the size of the business, like it was planned, and it's not easy. I would say the things that sink in are the new challenges that arise as you get bigger. Because as you get bigger, there's newer, harder challenges that you need to handle. And these are the interesting things that, you just have to deal with on a constant basis. business is just a struggle, man. All of life is just a struggle, and you have to be okay with the struggle, being in the struggle on a constant basis.
Yeah.
Right. So nothing catches you by surprise or things like that.
Yeah. What are the challenges, like out of curiosity, like what are the challenges that you face at this point? Like when you're 70 locations in, like what are the challenges that that come up for someone who's in that position?
Yeah. So as we got bigger, a lot of the challenges were trying to just systemize procedures that have to have people involved, such as hospitality, for example, right? How do you build standard operating procedures that make sure every guest that walks into any Tahinis gets greeted in a certain way, gets talked to in a certain way, shown a certain type of hospitality, and we've doing pretty great things regarding this already. But when we started, we had no idea how to do that, especially as we got bigger. Like we knew how to do it with, 4, 8, 10 restaurants.
Yeah.
Right. But then you pass 30 and things start to get a little bit harder, right? Because there's so many people involved. So you really have to think back and re-engineer and try to look at things a different way, and then get consultants to help you with these issues, and hire the right people, hire new people.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're doing right now. We're always going to be finding new challenges as we get bigger, and we're always going to be doing our best to tackle them as they come.
Was business always your passion when you were young? What was your passion when you were younger? Like even before you moved here in 2000, like what was your passion when you were younger?
How young?
Let's talk let's say end of high school, early university years. Like what was your passion when you were growing up?
When I was going through university, I had no like I had a business passion, but it wasn't as refined as it was after I graduated. After you graduate, you really find, I need to be passionate about this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I need to be passionate about something that will make me money, right? Because you can't just be passionate about anything. So I have to be passionate about business.
Yeah.
Right? That's how it started. And then when we got into the restaurant industry, I have to be passionate about the restaurant industry. Right? So that's kind of how it started for me. I'm sure other people, other restaurant owners will have different, they were always passionate about the restaurant industry before they opened the restaurant, and everybody has their story, and that's fine. But for me, the passion kind of came in different stages, right?
That makes sense. Well, is there any last words you think you'd want to say to a business owner who might be struggling, someone who's starting off?
No, I mean, talking about passions earlier, one of the passions that I have right now is that I know how hard it is to have a restaurant and run a restaurant, or run 2 restaurants. And one of my passions right now is to try to help as much as I can other people that are doing this, and that are in the spot that I was in a few years ago, and try to really just help them. So anybody that will invite me out for a podcast to talk about my business, I'll come, and I'll spill all the secrets.
I appreciate you coming by.
I'll give all the golden nuggets, because I'm passionate about helping people. My father was a teacher, math teacher growing up, and he taught his whole life. And I just love sharing information and teaching others how to do anything.
Yeah.
Right. And if my specialty happens to be in restaurants, I love teaching that.
Business, at the end of the day, I think it is very relatable, because business is business at the end of the day, right? I think the same way someone, you might have a little bit of nuances that are a little bit different in terms of the exact details of what's going on in the operation. But the growth side, I think people struggle with, how do I grow the business in general, whether they're in anything to do with like physio or restaurants or even trades. Like it is a struggle to grow a business. And I do think it's very important to reach out to people who've done it and are doing it and learn from them.
Absolutely.
Are you big on mentors? Like, have you had a mentor throughout
My whole
throughout the
life.
years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whether it's, other CMOs from different companies, like I reached out to the CMO of Chick-fil-A, and he's retired now. His name's Steve Robinson.
Yeah.
And he was one of my most helpful mentors that I ever had.
Yeah.
This guy had a wealth of knowledge and information, and he taught me so many things,
Yeah.
right? And then you get mentors from other areas besides like the restaurant, just in business, and you try to collect mentors like you're collecting Pokemon cards.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
It is very important.
Right? Like like you try to collect quality ones,
Of course.
right?
Yeah. You want to be learning
Rare
from people
ones.
who've done what you're doing.
Yeah.
Have been there.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate your time. I honestly, like I said, I think there's so much value to learn, and I'm sure we haven't even gone into the depth of what we could learn from someone who's in the restaurant industry and again, growing as fast as you are. So I really appreciate you taking the time to come by. I know you're a busy guy. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of value to be learned
Thank you,
from you
Benson.
in general, of course.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, stay tuned for another episode. Thank you guys for watching, and then we'll see you on the next one.
Yeah.
Take care.
And quick shout out at the end. Just if you have a restaurant, Tahini's restaurant nearby, please just go try our shawarmas.
Absolutely.
We have amazing shawarmas. I'm pretty sure you're gonna have a good experience there. And give us your feedback. What did you like? What didn't you like? Post about it, or comment about it. We see all the comments and we read all the reviews. So just let us know. Thank you very much.